This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 5 in the National Football League. Indianapolis Colts at home taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Huge game in the AFC. These are two teams that later down the line could be jockeying for position in the AFC playoff landscape. So, huge game early in the season. And 3-1 for the Baltimore Ravens, coming off of 2 consecutive victories, playing some good football, feeling really good about themselves. As a matter of fact, they're coming off of 3 consecutive victories, all of these Baltimore Ravens. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis Colts, after starting the season 0-2, they're on a 2-game winning streak. So they're looking to even up these records at 3-2 apiece. So Colts at home need to get this one in the worst way, especially going on Thursday night, taking on the Texans. That could be for first place if everything fell into place in week number 5. So 20-yard run for Ahmad Bradshaw. And then a 21-yard catch for Reggie Wayne sets up the Colts in the Ravens red zone on this opening possession, but the Colts are denied on 4th and 1. And head coach Chuck Pagano rolling the dice on that first possession came up snake eyes as he wasn't able to get his team to convert on 4th down, turnover on down. So you'll find that this, and you know what? I'll save it for when I get there. It's nothing after the Colts aren't able to succeed on 4th down. And again, and I talked about this in the preview for this game, Ravens red zone D, one of the best, as a matter of fact, statistically, the best in the league. And I've talked about it since week 1 when they held Cincinnati to 5 field goals in that game. This Ravens red zone defense has been outstanding all season long, and they continued that trend in this football game. It's nothing. Steve Smith Sr., coming off of that heroic effort against his ex-mates in Carolina last week, fumbles the football on the very next snap after the Ravens defense was able to come up huge with the stop, gives the football right back to the Colts at the Baltimore 22-yard line. But the Ravens in that stingy red zone defense that I was just talking about, they hold this Colts team to a field goal. It's only 3-0 early in this football game. Both punt returners misjudged the football. You had the Colts punt returner having a tough time of it, Griff Whalen. He misjudged the football, lets it hit the ground. Again, that's a no-no for a punt returner. Gives up a lot of field position as it takes a huge Ravens bounce deep into Colt territory. So that was a bad play on the part of Griff Whalen, and we'll hear his name later on down the line. And Jacoby Jones, Double J, makes a bad play on it. He misjudges the football, but Griff Whalen's, didn't cost the Colts the football. Double J's, however, did as the ball bounces. It looked like it hit him. I wasn't sure. The call on the field was going to be key because it was so tough to tell whether the ball actually hit him. It looked like it hit him, but I wasn't completely sure, and the officials couldn't have been completely sure. But nonetheless, they called it a fumble on the field. They called it a muff. And so because that's the call on the field, they had to stay with that call. There was no indisputable evidence one way or the other. So the call on the field was going to be key. And the call on the field was a fumble by Jacoby Jones, recovered by the Colts. And they're in business at the Baltimore 31. But 2 plays later, after the turnover, Andrew Luck is smashed by C.J. Mosley. And I'm going to raise my hand right now and admit I was wrong about C.J. Mosley. The kid is good. And I didn't see it on tape. I wasn't impressed with him at Alabama. Everybody saw it. They tried to warn me. I didn't want to see it. I'm seeing it now. And I guess it's just because he's been given an opportunity to just do what it is he does best. I thought at Alabama, he was just put in a box. Hey, man, you're a great coverage linebacker, so we'll let you roam in coverage. We'll let you make sure you keep these quarterbacks in the pocket. If they try to run, you go and get them. I saw him doing a lot of safe things in college. He's running around making plays in the National Football League, and the kid is legit. And he looks like the best linebacker prospect out of the past year's draft. And that hit he put on Luck was major. Ball goes into the air as Luck does not see him, tries to throw the football. It is picked off by Haloti Ngata, and the Ravens once again stand up defensively. And so it's still 3-0 in this game. Ravens defense really doing a heck of a job in this first quarter with their backs up against the wall. And so the Ravens begin at their own 40 as we enter the second quarter. After a beautifully orchestrated 90-yard Ravens march that started at their own 4-yard line, the Colts D, it's their turn to stiffen up. And on 3rd and 1, they forced a 4th and 1 from the 4-yard line. Flacco is sacked by Sergio Brown, and I thought he did a magnificent job filling in for LeBron Landry, who was suspended for PED usage. So he was not playing. He's not going to be playing for the next 4 weeks. And so this was big for Sergio Brown to come in and show that, hey, there won't be any drop-off here. And I thought he had an outstanding game, and he was huge. And that sack that he got on 4th down on Joe Flacco was huge. And I thought it kind of set the tone defensively for this team as they get a stop. It's still 3-0 in this football game. A 15-play Colts drive. And again, when you make plays like that on 4th down, it ignites the football team, especially when you're at home. It gets the crowd involved. And so the Colts embark on a 15-play drive that stalls as the Ravens' red zone defense does it again. And they had a deflected pass. And then Pernell McPhee gets a sack on Andrew Luck, forces them in a 4th down situation. They have to kick a field goal. And after making that great play, McPhee has a cardinal sin on the field goal attempt from 43 yards out. He has a holding penalty, which is an automatic 1st down. Colts get an opportunity to get back into the end zone, and they do not waste it as 2 plays later, T.Y. Hilton is in the end zone. It's a touchdown for the Colts, except there's yellow on the floor. There's yellow on the carpet. Officials call Reggie Wayne for pass interference on the offensive side of the football, and it was a great call. Reggie Wayne, he seeked out the defender. He ran into him, set up a pick for T.Y. Hilton to get open and catch the touchdown pass. And so sloppy play, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, has to force this Colts team to settle for another Adam Vinatieri field goal. It's now 6-0 in this football game. And after a sloppy first half, we're about to talk about this first half. After a sloppy first half by both teams, Ravens finished with a momentum-stealing 52-yard field goal by just incredible Justin Tucker. It's now 6-3 as the Colts go into the halftime break with a 3-point lead. Let's talk about this first half, because I thought that, in my mind, this first half was extremely sloppy, and that's not up for debate. This was an extremely sloppy football game as a whole, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I thought the first half was sloppy. I didn't expect the second half to be as sloppy as the first half. That's why I put sloppy first half in my notes, because I'm expecting this game to clean up. I thought both teams came out. A lot of turnovers, a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes by both football teams in the first half. You got punt returners misjudging footballs. You got turnovers by both teams. You got mistakes all over the place. And if you're the Ravens were dominated. Sheer domination by the Colts in this first half. Yet the score doesn't indicate how badly the Ravens have been dominated. The Ravens hardly even had the football in the first half. If you look at time of possession in this game in the first half, you will see that it's probably a 3-to-1 ratio, Colts to Ravens, in terms of time of possession. You look at the yardage offensively, the Colts dominated this game every way you could imagine, except for the one place where it really matters. That's the scoreboard. It's 6-3. If you're the Ravens, you feel fortunate, and your defense is to blame. If you're the Indianapolis Colts, you say to yourself, man, how are they still in this game? That Ravens red zone defense is why this Ravens football team is still in this football game. So you despite all the turnovers and the sloppy play on both sides by both teams, it's a 6-3 game. If you're the Ravens, you got to feel fortunate that you're in this football game. So we go to the third quarter, into the second half. Flacco is picked off by Vontae Davis on the Ravens' second half opening possession. He returns it to the Baltimore Ravens' 33-yard line, leads to a 6-yard Dwayne Allen touchdown. Hey, it's 13-3 now. The Colts start to gain a little bit of separation. Andrew Luck trying to do too much on 3rd and goal, and I hate seeing quarterbacks turn it over in the red zone. There's points to be gained when you're in the red zone. You're getting something out of this possession. Don't turn it over. That's a no-no. And Andrew Luck knows better than that. He knows better than that. And he tried to do too much. He was outside the pocket. He was rolling out. There was pressure. He just needed to eat it. Either you throw it out of bounds or you just run the football and get to the sidelines and get out of bounds, get what you can. There was no reason to try to force this across your body, first of all. You're rolling out to the left, which isn't your throwing side. So you're throwing across your body. There's pressure behind you. There's a cluster of Ravens in front of you. There's no reason to try to force this one into the receiver. It's deflected and picked off by C.J. Mosley, preserving a 13-3 deficit again. Ravens red zone defense, once again, rising to the occasion. And again, don't know where this Ravens football team is in this game. For that matter, this season, where they are in this season without this red zone defense. Still 13-3. We move on to the fourth quarter. Griff Whalen's tough day continues as he fumbles a punt. Remember, he had the misjudgment of a punt in the first half. Well, this time, not only did he catch it, he got it caught this time, but he coughs it up, and he should have fair caught the football. Again, so these guys out here trying to do too much. Just do your job. Be smart. Your team is up by 10. You don't need to be a hero right now. Fair catch the football. Keep it moving. Instead, he tries to make a play. Ravens are bearing down on him. They make him cough it up, and the Ravens recover the football at the Indy 14. Now you've given the Ravens life. This team was on life support. Now you've given them a chance. They've struggled in this game to sustain offense, to get out of their own way, and here you are offering them up a turnover, and that's what they're going to look to take advantage of now as they start at the Colts' 14-yard line. Ravens have to settle for a field goal, though, and those are backbreaking. You start a possession at the 14-yard line, and all you can muster is a field goal. That's the type of day that it was for the Baltimore Ravens, as it's 13-6 now. It's a one-score game, though. That's the good thing that came out of that possession, even though you had to settle for a field goal. One-score possession, you're right in this ball game now. Andrew Luck drives his team down the field on an 8-play, 80-yard drive, capping it off with a 15-yard touchdown run. It's 20-6. That was backbreaking because for all the good that the Ravens had done defensively all game long, to finally be within arm's reach again after giving up a touchdown early on in the half, to be in arm's reach again, you needed to get a stop. You needed a stop here. Your offense needed a chance to be able to tie this football game up, and you didn't give it to them as you let this Colts offense go. And they had done this all game long. This Colts offense moved the football down the field all day long. They self-destructed in every way you could possibly self-destruct. And so they finally were able to hold on to the football. They finally didn't make any mistakes. They got in the end zone. It's now 20-6. Ravens go no huddle out of desperation. And your result, a 4-play, 80-yard touchdown drive, 11-yard Justin Forsett score on the ground caps it off as the Ravens are right back in this football game. And the beauty of that possession was it was quick because they were running out of time at this point. And so this drive ended in a touchdown. It's now 20-13. One-score game. You need a stop. You need to be able to get the football back. But the way the Colts offensively have been playing, it's going to be tough for this Ravens defense to get a stop and get off the field. And as the Colts are putting the icing on a victory, they're running out the clock. They got this game right where they want it. All they got to do is continue running the football and kick this field goal, go up by 10, and put this game out of reach. Ahmad Bradshaw, of all people, not Ahmad Bradshaw. I expect this from T-Rich, not Ahmad Bradshaw. He's stripped of the football, fighting for extra yards. Why, Ahmad? Why are you fighting for extra yards? That's not of importance right now. You're already inside the Ravens' red zone. It's not important. What's important is the football and ball security at this point. And he stripped up the football. Ravens recover. And all of a sudden now, a game that seemed all but over, pending an Adam Vinatieri chip shot field goal, is now in the balance as the Ravens have one final opportunity to steal this game, a game that they have no business being in the first place. They have a chance to tie it up and possibly send it into overtime. However, with 149 left, Ahmad Bradshaw strip. This is the Colts' fourth turnover of the game. They're second in the red zone. So that just speaks to how sloppy this game was from the Colts standpoint, how badly they played as a football team, yet they're still ahead with the chance to win. Now they just got to preserve this lead somehow. Colts hold on with a magnificent play on fourth down by Greg Toller on a diving stop to knock away the football from Torrey Smith, who I think had a step on him, and if Flacco makes a better throw, I think a throw out in front leading Torrey Smith might actually get Greg Toller on his play. But because the ball was on the money instead of out in front, the ball was right where it needed to be, and a better defender doesn't get their hands on it. But Greg Toller, looking for the football, is able to extend and knock it away. If he's not looking for the football, this is a catch. But because he found the football, he locates it and is able to knock it away. The Colts survive a scare, 20-13, as they get this W, despite the sloppy. What a sloppy game for both teams. And you got to be able to win ugly in this league. And the Colts were able to do that. So kudos to them for getting it done. It was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination. They found a way to make this game close. They should have won this game running away. This should have been a 30-13 victory for the Indianapolis Colts. That's the kind of game that they played. But because they were so sloppy, they were so reckless, they were so careless, this was a 20-13 victory that they eked out. But look, by hook, by crook, they still got the W. And that's all that matters. They go to 3-2 on the season. Big win against a good football team in the Baltimore Ravens. Meanwhile, the Ravens, you got to be scratching your head because you need your offense to show up, and they did not show up in this game. They made too many mistakes. Jacoby Jones, his nightmarish season continues. He's had drops on the offensive end. He hasn't done anything on special teams. He fumbles in this game. He's really struggling to get his feet under him in this 2014 season. When he does, he's going to be a tremendous asset to the Ravens, as he usually is. But right now, he's struggling. His struggles continued in this game. The Ravens, they're feast or famine this season. They're either really good offensively and they're scoring, 20-something or 30-something points, or they're struggling. It's like there's no in-between with this Ravens offense. Either they're fumbling footballs and dropping them and struggling offensively and they're not helping Joe Flacco out, or they're clicking on all cylinders like they were against Carolina, like they did against Pittsburgh, and they're scoring points and they're dominating football games. There needs to be some kind of balance with this football team. They got to stop with the turnovers. They got to stop with the drop passes. They need to be able to be a more consistent offense. When they do that, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But right now, the inconsistencies are killing this Ravens team as they drop one on the road that, frankly, they should have been beaten soundly in, but they hang around because of that defense. And that's the one thing that's going to save this Ravens team down the line is that red zone defense is stout. If they're able to stay relatively healthy, the way they play defense in the red zone, this defense bends, but it usually does not break. But in any event, they drop this game, fall to 3-2 on the season. Still a good football team, tough loss on the road. They played against a good Indianapolis Colts team, and they struggled to take care of the football, but they got it done. That's going to do it for the Ravens and Colts. I thank you for joining me in the lab room. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. I thank you for joining me. Come back and join me as I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 5 in the National Football League. See you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.